Stefan Grosberg.
Pumpkin changed my life almost exactly 1 year ago. The humble pumpkin. I was living in rural Italy at the time, an hour outside the city, 15 minutes from the train station. My village did have a bus stop, but I was there for 10 weeks and I hadn't actually seen a bus. I was very physically isolated. But there were so few distractions. There was no internet, no television, the language barrier. My mind felt very isolated. I became very insular. I was very alone. I was at my lowest point on the second night. I was considering my options. The first night I was staying in the hotel, the second night I was in the living room. I was considering my options of returning home, but I didn't make it to the airport because it was, one, very difficult to get there, but this was my backyard. It was beautiful. I went there to learn charcuterie, which is the craft of curing meat. This is me in their cellar. But I came away with so much more, with a real deep connection to the people and the landscape. They welcomed me like a brother. There was no prejudice, there was no judgment. I was there, I was with them. It made me feel at home. So, the life-changing pumpkin. This is tortelli di zucca, which is a typical dish of the region of Emilia-Romagna. Think of it as a pumpkin ravioli. Fresh pumpkin, fresh pasta, the local cheese, Parmigiano Reggiano, crafted by these old ladies. Really very, very simple, but quite perfect. The creativity and resourcefulness, I saw it was as clear as day. This seasonal vegetable became the seasonal meal. And I began to question myself, how creative, how resourceful am I? We have year-round growing season in Trinidad, and I began considering, have we lost appreciation for our local vegetables? Do we appreciate our local staples and specialties? Trinitario cocoa is one that comes to my mind. This originated in Trinidad. This is completely native to this island, hence the name, Trinitario. Trinidad produces some of the best cocoa in the world. Do we know this? Are we proud of this fact? Do we celebrate it? My journey made me very self-aware, very conscious of the decisions that I was making. And I saw myself as very stagnant. I had no creative design. There was no inspiration for me. In a certain sense, I was comfortable with mediocrity in my life. And when I recognized this, I realized it was not the way I wanted to live. So I made food my life. Back home around this time, Slow Food T&T was being born. Slow Food being a network of farmers, food producers, of fishermen, of bakers, of chefs, of journalists, of anyone who cares or who shares the same idea, the same philosophy of good, clean, and fair food. I was able then to begin meeting these local organic farmers, the artisans, the ones who craft skillfully, carefully, with passion, with tradition. I was very inspired. So I planted a kitchen garden. This inspired me. I then became one of these artisans when I started my own business making pesto from local flavors. I started learning our local varieties of fruits and vegetables, our local names, the local traditions, our traditions of boucané, of salt meat, dancing the cocoa. Many of us know this last tradition, but what about the others? And my teachers were the old ladies. These women we need to listen to. They have knowledge from a time when we could depend on ourselves, when we did not have to look to the outside. I think it's shocking, our approach to food at home. We spend over $4 billion to import food into this country annually. $4 billion. Yet, we have 25 varieties of yam, there are 40 varieties of cassava, there are 50 varieties of sweet potato. We want to talk fruit, we have 84 different varieties of fruit. The humble mango, we have over 35 varieties. This diversity is incredible. This is something that I think we should be proud of, that we ought to be celebrating. Now, no argument, no discussion about the local food sector is complete without recognizing how severely underdeveloped it is. There are few farmers, there are even fewer food producers. But it is up to us, you and me, the consumer, who has the power in our decisions. The choices that we make will influence how the sector develops. Why do we buy local? It goes way above and beyond farmer welfare. We need to recognize that our economy is largely based on oil and gas, a finite resource. When this resource is done, where is the $4 billion coming from? Furthermore, when foreign countries begin restricting their food exports because of their own food shortages, who are we going to turn to feed ourselves? I also believe it will break the homogenization of global food, whereby we're able to protect our local varieties, the local cultivars, our local flavors. This is what has fed us in the past and what we need to look to continue feeding us. I also believe it will help improve our creativity and resourcefulness. For instance, there was a period in time in the 80s, during the oil bust, when food imports were restricted. And at Christmas time, everyone is looking for their apples to bake their apple pie. We turn to Christophine, another local vegetable. It made a great substitute. Now, cost is forever the scapegoat why we don't buy local. Listen to what the Minister of Food Production, Vasan Bharat, said. He said that local food might not be cheap, but affordable. Because cheap food equals poor farmers. Poor farmers equals no food, and no food equals imported food. It becomes a matter of perspective then. What do we deem affordable? How do we leave here today? We leave here knowing that as consumers, the choice is ours. The choice is limited, but every time we do make that choice for local, in food, in craft, we will win. We will progress. Every time that we celebrate it, every time that we are proud of it. Every dollar that we spend on local is another dollar towards our nation's economy, towards domestic development, food security, sustainability. Most importantly to me, it's another dollar in the hands of an artist, an artisan, a farmer. So be conscious that the next time you're having pumpkin, it might just change your life. Thank you.